starting my own podcast. Ugh.
So make some noise for the next comedian. He's one of my favorites. You guys are going to love him. Give it up for the very funny Brandon Newman!
Womp, 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 womp. This is your boy Brandon Newman, B New. I don't know how I want to introduce myself, but I do say Brandon J. Newman or Brandon Newman. I don't know. People introduce me a lot of things on stage. Half the time, comedians around here don't even remember my name when they're bringing me up on stage, but this is why this is the beginning. Brandon and Friends is a podcast. No, the reason starting my own podcast feels so nasty to say.
Girl, nasty, I've been a nasty girl, nasty, I've been a nasty girl,
And
nasty.
it to actually be reality is because I currently work in podcasting, strictly in podcasting or media, digital media, social media. If there's a chance where you know me or see my face or have read me, I've wrote blogs for Barstool at one point in time, but I've worked in podcasting professionally for 7 years now. And I know how difficult it is. And I know it's a beast of a thing to do, but I know everyone does it. But, there's not as many podcasts as there are blogs. And now podcasts are on Netflix and they're being streamed and it's more of a digital television show. I digress. Let me actually start off with a quick story. In 2019, I worked at Barstool Sports. I had just left working at Fox Sports with Joy Taylor, and we had a podcast called Maybe I'm Crazy. I did well enough on that podcast and put enough on wax to be kind of funny enough to get an interview at Barstool, go test with Dave Portnoy on radio on his show, and get an offer, right? So fast forward 2019, I moved to New Jersey, working in New York. We have a radio show on Barstool Breakfast with Willie Colon. I'm only a co-host 3 days of the week, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. I think it went up against Howard Stern. Willie also had some podcasts going on there, but Willie and I were going to make a podcast while we were there. One thing I did not know about going there and working there was that it's essentially a reality TV show. And Stool Scenes was a big part of it. Whatever they were going on in the world of Barstool, there was people that worked there as cameramen who prompted people for questions and basically documented all of the ongoings and the drama and the funny stuff and the ins and outs of what it was like to be at Barstool. Willie and I was like, there's really no minority opinion or voice on what's going on at Barstool. So I don't know if you guys know, you probably do, a gentleman named Caleb Presley.
Where are you from?
I'm from Toronto, Canada, where we are.
Is it true that the most beautiful girls in the world are here in Toronto?
I would say so, yes.
How'd you get them here from Miami? You flew them in your plane?
Right? There's a lot of talented people that are at Barstool. Some have left, some are still there. Caleb is one of the guys that branched off into his own thing. He has this thing called Sunday Conversations with Caleb and Glennie Balls. Very funny. I recommend you check it out. You probably already seen it. He was established as like a really creative guy at Barstool. Him and Rome were like, they did Storm Chasers and they, did a bunch of stuff, interviews, and they were very funny and very creative. So I wasn't friends with Caleb. We had mutual friends because he played football in high school with a guy who I played football with at Notre Dame. We had one really quick, short sit down and we were talking. And when asked about what podcast we were doing, I said, it's kind of like Stool Scenes, but the Minority Report for Stool Scenes. And I don't know if you've ever been seeking feedback and actually got real criticism on the other side. This is one of those instances. And it's criticism that stuck with me since I heard it. I told him that we're going to do like a Minority Report version of Stool Scenes. And he, without a beat, very abruptly said, oh, I thought you guys were doing something original. And to this day, it sits with me. Anytime I sit down to do anything creative, I think about the thing that Caleb Presley said to me in earnest, but also honestly. He's like, oh, I thought you guys were doing something original. That's something that's been lacking in social media right now. Like, I'm in the business and it's a lot of monkey see, monkey do. And everyone's talking about how the industry's changing and everybody wants to it's all about storytelling. It's all about narrative. It's all about, documenting like stop creating and start documenting. Well, that's what brought me here today. I've been doing stand-up seriously for 3 years now. Last year, I had a very cringeworthy post where I posted about getting fired from DraftKings and how I was going to start a podcast called Brandon and Friends. I've had this podcast name in my head. I've had this idea in my head for a long time, but the originality wasn't there yet. Now it is. This is my documentation, my claim to fame, my climb to relevancy as a comedian. This is me putting my stuff out there. I'm a big fan of comedy podcasts. It's pretty much the only really podcast I listen to. But Brandon and Friends is going to be the documentation of me taking stand-up seriously and kind of allowing my friends and family members and other people that are interested in on the journey. I teased at the beginning of the trailer, I teased in the trailer that we're going to be breaking down my very first 5 minutes that I've ever done here in Sarasota. This was at a McCurdy's stand-up class, and this is the graduation show. But before I get there, let me talk to you about comedy a little bit. This episode of Brandon and Friends is brought to you by Waffle House. Yes, Waffle House, the only place you can go 24 hours a day when you want yourself a nice waffle that's shaped and feels like a pancake. Waffle House, the United Nations of the ghetto. I grew up in the Midwest, essentially. I grew up in the Midwest. People might think Louisville, Kentucky is not a part of the Midwest. I challenge you to go there and figure it out. Now, don't listen to how people speak, because that will tell you that it is the South. But it is the Midwest. And I was growing up playing football. I was either on like the Southeastern regional list or the Midwestern list or the just straight Southern list of things. So I was all over the place. And that's Louisville's kind of feels like it's all over the place because it's in Kentucky. But it's right below Indiana, which is not a good argument to debate the Midwest because Indiana is cornfields. So anyways, my dad was in Detroit, Michigan, and I grew up driving back and forth between Detroit, Michigan and Louisville, Kentucky. My mom and dad got a divorce when I was 2 years old, so I literally grew up on the road, MapQuest directions printed out on these car rides. My dad would listen to Jeff Foxworthy, his specials. You might be a redneck. He would listen to the Hardy Boys or the Fat Boys, and it was like prank phone calls. And this was my into comedy. Like this was my like window into like being obsessed with this thing. Like my dad's very funny. He loves the technical joke. He loves to stretch the truth for comedic effect. My mom is hilarious in all the right and wrong ways. Very clumsy, very loud, always stealing the show wherever she is. People love her for it. And I am quite literally a mix of the two of them in a lot of ways. But growing up on Comic View, being raised by stand-up specials, stand-up was something that was always something I was obsessed with, something I loved to do. Like I could watch stand-up specials the way I watched television shows and memorizing bits. I mean, Lavelle Crawford's Indonesia bit.
I be like, Mama, send me some money, Western Union. I'm in Indonesia. She be like, who nieces house you over? I said, I ain't over nobody niece's house. I'm in Indonesia. You over Claudette niece's house? No, I'm in a tsunami in Indonesia. You over somebody niece's house eating up her tsunami? You know good and well you shouldn't be eating them people's tsunami.
Little Duval. Y'all might know Little Duval from Smile and all those other things like that. But like, when I was growing up on Comic View, one of the best bits was him doing a joke version of Music Soul's Child's Girlfriend.
Bing, ding, bing, ding, bing, 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 ding, bing. Girl, I know this might seem strange, but let me know if I'm out of order for stepping to you this way. See, I've been buying you drinks for a while, and I just gotta let you know that you mine, so you need to give me your name.
Comedy was everything to me. Stand-up was everything to me. I remember even watching Gary Owens for the first time and be like, oh my gosh, so funny. He talked about him and his producer or his manager, who's this black guy who prayed over M&M's when they were at the movie theater. And he said, God, you're a wonderful God. You're a wonderful God. Only a wonderful God can make green, blue, brown, yellow, red, all taste the same. What a wonderful God. Oh my gosh, just bits on bits on bits. It's so funny. As I got more into television, which is my real love, is just being on TV. That's the reason why I played football growing up, is I wanted to be on TV. The NFL was my favorite TV show. So when I was in grad school at Ball State, I got an interview because Ball State, there's some connections. Kevin McCaffrey, I should really just say it because hopefully I have him on this podcast one day. Kevin McCaffrey was a Ball State graduate who worked at the Late Show with David Letterman as a writer. He and his wife Jamie, worked on the show, and a bunch of other friends that Jack, who used to work at, they all were students at Ball State and then went over to New York and started working at the Late Show with David Letterman. He got me an interview to be a page at the Late Show with David Letterman. I'll get to all that story later, but I ended up getting the job, moving to New York City, and then I'm thrusted around these people and these entities that are just so deep into comedy. Like the way I knew football, this is the way these people knew stand-up comedy. The ways that these people knew sketch comedy, they knew improv comedy, and this was my introduction to stand-up and being able to perform on stage. The first time I ever got up on stage to do stand-up was in 2013, and it was just spattered around for the next decade until 2023 in Florida, Sarasota, Florida, where I moved with my family, 2 kids, X amount of careers later, X amount of jobs later, X amount of podcasts later. I land in Sarasota at a comedy club, McCurdy's, where I sign up for a course in class where I'm going to bore you with a lot of these details of what I learned in this class. But like Les McCurdy taught the class, the owner of the establishment, and it's like he broke down how to start getting paid, what to look out for if you want to start taking comedy seriously, to the point where he said, if you want to take stand-up seriously and you're married, go ahead and get a divorce, because it's not meant for people who have families. And I was like kind of worried about it, nervous about it, but no shit. I bullshit you not. 3 of the 6 guys that were in that class were married. And in a year of taking stand-up comedy seriously, 3 of them are divorced. And I am in marriage counseling now. And shouts out to MC Amy, MC meaning marriage counselor Amy. There's something about the obsession and the addiction to trying to get on stage and trying to get these jokes off that is detrimental to your well-being and your health. But the stuff I learned in that class slowly started to come to fruition. And one of the things he said was, to start getting paid for sets, you have to have a good 15 to 20 minutes. And to have a good 15 to 20 minutes, it's going to take you 2 to 3 years. And what a good 15 to 20 minutes is, 80% of your set works on 80% of audiences. Even broke it down to like, once you do a set, write out every word you said, record the set, listen back to what what you said, and then count your laughs so you can know how many laughs you have in per 5-minute set, per 10-minute set. And then also circle audience breaks where audiences are clapping, count your laugh lines, write out the words that you messed up. Like, it gets really formulaic, but it's been absolutely right the entire time. And for example, this is a perfect time for me to bring up this class. I missed 2 of the classes because I was in Arizona for the Super Bowl while I was working at DraftKings at the time. And then at the end of this course, I think it was $250 or something like that for the course, 4 weekends in a row on the weekend. And then the last class is your graduation class. I might be messing up the details of that, but it really doesn't matter. This is what I came up with, and I want to listen to this set with you great people here and not judge, but really dive into it. and this is, I should add this part too. I turned 33 on this day. This was my 33rd birthday, and it was random that this graduation course was on my birthday, but I felt like this has to be fate. This has to be exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Valentine's Day is actually a big day for stand-ups, and a lot of people go out, couples go out and like see shows, but like this show randomly being on my birthday, which is my day. My birthday is the day after Valentine's Day, February 15th, was crazy. Okay. So here, the voice you're going to hear is Les McCurdy, the owner of the club, who's introducing me to a crowd of 250 people. I am nervous as shit. I just wasn't focused enough on comedy in my mind, and I was nervous, but this is the jokes that I came out with.
Brandon Newman!
See me coming right from the curtain. Les is telling people to be excited because they're not really being excited.
Hello, white people! Hello!
Okay, as I grab the mic, the first thing I say is hello, white people, which is low-hanging fruit, but that's who I was looking at in the crowd.
It is an honor to be the first black Brandon you've ever met. Some of you in SRQ are more traveled than most. There's that one cruise in Cozumel, so I might be second or third. I know it's lame and low-hanging fruit to assign a race or ethnicity to a name, but let's be real. Brandon's a pretty white name. Universally a white name. I've been a blur.
Okay. So one of the things that they said in this class was having jokes about your name will help people remember who you are, right? So I leaned in on that, right? Brandon's universally white name. This is all basically like kind of how I feel as well. But a big mistake that I made off top, I'm watching it now, is usually they tell you as a stand-up, the first thing you do is move the mic stand out of the way, right? So I took the mic out of the stand, but I didn't move the mic stand. So I'm sitting there and telling these jokes in front of the mic stand, which is a mistake that I would not make 3 years now that I've been in it 3 years.
Both a Brandon and black for 33 years now. Finding another black Brandon is about as hard as finding a parking spot in Siesta Key, At least at Siesta Key you can follow someone, And also, I'm glad I can joke about it now, but
Okay, that was regional humor. Finding a black Brandon is about as hard as finding a parking spot at Siesta Key. That's the popular beach here in Sarasota. And I even said, at least then you can follow somebody, which is something commonly that you do when it's crowded at the beach. You like literally chase people down that look like they're going back to the car, and you go, "Hey, are you leaving? Are you leaving?" And you'll wait like 15 minutes for them to get their shit together and leave just so you can get a parking spot.
I accepted my parents for a very long time for this bland, basic ass name. I really was. Black people are some of the most creative namers of all time. And the two that came together for me came up with Brandon. My brother's name's Lance, so I got off easy. But seriously, between my white ass name, my white wife.
Okay, my brother's name is Lance, so I got off easy. Biggest laugh of the night, biggest pop. And I'd be lying to say if I don't do that joke anymore. That is a very easy joke. One time I did an open mic with my brother and did that joke, and then Lance, and then he came up right afterwards, and everybody got whiplash, and it was very funny. But yes, I still use that joke to this day.
But seriously, between my white ass name, my white wife, and my credit score in the 700s, I don't know if Dr. Martin Luther King is proud of me or disgusted. This Black History Month.
Okay, so a minute 30 in, I get an applause break. People really like the concept of Martin Luther King Jr. being disappointed in me because of my name and my white wife and my credit score.
I'm sure some of you have assumed already that I played football growing up. Shame on you for judging a book by its cover. Yes, you don't know what I'm about. I could be, let's go Brandon. You know what I mean? Maybe not hashtag Black Lives Matter. You don't know me. But I really do hate getting stereotyped. I don't know if what gave it away as a football player, the broad shoulders, big belly, or the white wife mentioned. But I hate it.
I forgot these jokes, but it's good that I can make myself laugh. The fact that I got somebody to clap when I said, I don't know if what gave it away that I play football, the big belly, the broad shoulders, or the white wife mention. Oh my gosh, people like that one.
I hate getting stereotyped. It's really not fair. It's really not fair. Obviously, the Super Bowl just happened. Everybody watched the Super Bowl. Very great Super Bowl. Okay. Very fun.
I'm about to talk about the Super Bowl or try to do something, but the stereotype thing was the through line that I tried to hone in on because I had this. My closer is based on that, so I very clumsily brought it up, but it is my through line for this 5 minutes.
I actually was on a work trip there in Arizona, but they shipped me back here before the actual game. It's a cheaper flight. So I'm here. I'm here for the Super Bowl. I'm trying to go to Publix to get a couple snacks, running around. Nothing crazy on the menu, just get some hummus, some pita chips, some carrots I'll throw away at the end of the night. And I'm just minding my business, and I walk down the aisle, and I see the other black guy who lives in Sarasota. And I'm ready to do niceties, you guys know the black guy ain't not. It's one of those. But I'm smiling, but I notice that he isn't smiling, he's laughing. He's laughing, and I'm a little perplexed, I don't know what's going on. We get to the point where we're passing on the aisle, and he didn't say anything, and he's giggling. He's giggling, so I'm feeling insecure. It's like, do I have toilet paper at the bottom of my shoe? Does he know my name's Brandon? What's going on here? So I address him. I get my black voice. Hey, brother, what's so funny? He just simply motioned to the hummus in my hand. He was like, we both fuck with white girls. Damn it. 32 ounce of pureed chickpeas. Racially profiled by my own kind. Speaking of my own kind, I got a chance to meet up with a lot of guys I played football with in college.
Okay. I gotta pause there because that was one of my bread and butter staple jokes that actually happened to me, but not in a real way. I was at a bachelor party in Miami with a friend, shouts out to Harold Hogue, and one of his buddies who was there, we just went to the Publix in Miami just to get snacks because we were broke. And as we were running around picking up stuff, he looks at my hands and just starts toppled over in laughter. And I had no idea what he was laughing about. I was like, what's so funny? He's like, you got this hummus. And I was like, what? I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to eat healthy snacks. He said, no, we both mess with white girls. And obviously that joke works. It's the second applause break, which is a metric when you do stand up. I still do this joke to this day. So I'm glad that, this intensive class led to some pretty good material. I expand a little bit on the black guy head nod thing. One of my buddies, Matt Stofsky, who I sent this to after I did, he was the first person to take me to do stand up in New York. He's opened up for Norm Macdonald and Louis Anderson and a bunch of other big names. And he was like, you got to go deeper into the black guy head nod. So now I do more of you'll hear it when I bring it up again. So I show you how this bit has evolved over time. But I say simple gesture, black guy head nod. And I do that. I look for black people in the crowd to do the head nod. I was like, simple gesture. It communicates race war. Shit goes down. We on teams. Which gets a big laugh. But back to the thing. But that Publix bit is when I write down my set list. I wrote down Publix bit. It's probably 2 minutes, and it gets some pretty good laughs.
Yes, I played football at the University of Notre Dame. Yes. Played is in air quotes, heavy air quotes. 2 games in 4 years.
Notre Dame mention.
But because I played football at Notre Dame, I have a lot of friends who had the opportunity to play in the NFL. Because I have a lot of friends who play in the NFL, usually when we go out as a group, I'm the brokest black of the bunch. I'm not embarrassed of that. It happens a lot. So even this weekend, last weekend, we were running around Arizona. We were at a Brazilian steakhouse. Everyone's having a good time. The cards get thrown in. which is a little nervous for me because everyone else is on vacation, but I'm on a work trip, so I need the price to be a specific point for me to, expense this thing, broke boy shit. And the cards come back. I went and grabbed my card. I looked at the receipt, looking for a discrepancy, just looking for a charge to dispute. And I found it. I slammed my hand on the table. I said, which one of y'all ordered gratitude? I ain't paying for this shit. I didn't need it. I'm not doing no damn gratitude. I won't pay for shit I didn't need.
Okay, no, I did this joke the next day at an open mic and expanded on it. And to be fair, this is a street joke. In the comedy class, they say use a street joke to like a guaranteed laugh at some point in time. A street joke is priest, rabbi, and a unicorn walking to a bar. That's a very bad example. But like a street joke is one that like kind of gets passed down. Gratitude is something I heard first from Jonas Gray when he opened up for Dustin Diamond from Saved by the Bell in college. I don't know if you guys know Jonas Gray's a former running back for the New England Patriots, had a crazy game against the Indianapolis Colts and kind of didn't have a bunch of crazy games after that. But shouts out to Jonas. He's from Detroit, one of the good friends of mine. But he used this joke about gratitude. Now, how I changed it when I did it again was like somebody corrected me because people didn't understand necessarily gratitude. There wasn't a bunch of big laughs. I had to like say the correct pronunciation. So I came in and I was like, my buddy Ethan was like, Brandon, it's gratuity. We all had it. And I was like, I didn't have it. And like that sells the joke a little bit more. Actually, it's probably pinned in my social media, but it is a street joke. So I don't want to take too much credit for it. And I took it from Jonas. I flipped it from Jonas, to be fair. He said his uncle is so dumb that when they go out to eat, and that was how he kind of set it up. So I made it my own, but still not great to build a whole thing off of a punchline that somebody else came up with. Definitely some amateur stuff, and I do not use this joke on stage because of it.
I know COVID deniers and black people actually have a lot of common. How many people here in Publix are wearing masks still? Yeah, I didn't think so. What it's like being black around here? Just let you know. You remember back in the pandemic when you was the first motherfucker that came into the place with no mask and everybody else had a mask on? Remember those eyes? The eyes and the nose? Feel that heat on you? That's what black people feel like when we go into banks, when we go to bookstores, when we go to the beach. It's just stereotypes. It's just stereotypes. Black people love to read. Black people love books. Black people love water. You know what I'm saying? Black people love money. But stereotypes have you thinking, why is he here? He can't read. Why is he here? He can't swim. Why is he here? He doesn't have a savings account. Just because two of those three are true for me doesn't mean I can't be up in here. Look what y'all do. And I'm watching. That's my time, everybody. Thanks so much.
Okay. I'm kind of proud of that. It's pretty embarrassing, but I'm kind of proud of that. I'm thankful that guy went up there and did that stuff. I do not do that joke that I close with anymore. Not for any particular reason. It's kind of clunky, but it's kind of funny too. I posted on social media, years ago, and it really got the GOP people upset, which was very funny. But yeah, I'm proud of that guy. Looks like he's done stand-up before. He's come up with jokes before. That wasn't the first time of me doing stand-up. First time I did 5 minutes in maybe 2 years. Up until that point, like I did theater in high school. So coming up with something, remembering your lines, trying to stick it, I thought like that's an easy thing for me to do. And the entire time I thought I should be a stand-up comedian. I thought I should be a professional stand-up comedian. Like there's times in between me doing stand-up for the first time and what you guys just saw where I thought I should get my special ready. Like 60 minutes of material ready to put out and just produce it myself. I had no idea the intricacies of what it means to be a stand-up, the business stuff that goes into being stand-up, what it means to be an opener, what it means to be a feature, what it means to be a headliner, the time restraints. I guarantee you, I didn't time that up like perfectly. I did not do 5 minutes there. And in every stand-up competition I've done since, if you go 5:30, like your 5 minute competition, if you do 5:30, you're disqualified. So it doesn't matter if you're still laughing. It doesn't matter if you're still making people laugh. It doesn't matter if you're still having a good time. It's very important to be on time with everything you do. And without a lot of that filler stuff that you guys heard and me stumbling over things and trying to find the jokes, I probably could have hit 5 minutes. It's really cool to see. I'm glad I'm starting off episode 1, just diving deep into a set that I don't do anymore, but some bare bones things that I still kind of hit on and try to hit up now when I go on stage. Now, I just did on my birthday 3 years later in Bradenton, Florida, next to Sarasota. I couldn't tell you what direction it is because I always get that wrong. But I got paid $50 for doing 12 minutes. And I'm averaging like when I get a chance to do 10 minutes, I'm averaging like 60 laughs in 10 minutes. Like I'm proud of the strides that I'm taking, but I'm still clunky. I'm still saying weird things when I'm trying to find the next joke in my head. I have a lot of these things built to muscle memory, but that's a lot different than being able to like literally wax poetic and doing the thing. So next episode of Brandon and Friends, I will be bringing up a new piece of material that I've done, a new stand-up set to kind of break down. I want to punch up those jokes live here with you. I want to do the whole concept of me doing Brandon and Friends is 2 episodes back to back with just me figuring things out, trying to find my voice, trying to find my audience, trying to figure out, what I'm doing here in my closet mess or fake studio that I'm going to end up making into a studio that should be cool, should look cool, very soon. But I want to write new jokes too. I want to bring new jokes to the table. What this show will be is me getting to the nitty gritty of this life, of this world that I've put myself into, that I'm very passionate about, that I feel like I have something to offer to people. And I hope that I can prove that on this podcast and showcase my writing, my on stage presence, my physical comedy, and all the different things that I try to play with. But I cut myself off before. So first 2 episodes are 2 episodes in a row. It's just going to be me talking to myself, and then the friends part is me tagging in someone that I know that has been that I've been funny with, intentionally, professionally, just on the phone with, like just kind of kicking this around and talking to. I'm censoring myself because my kids listen to this podcast, and I don't know how long I'm going to keep doing that because grow up, But yeah, I want to tag in a friend, and those episodes will be a little bit longer than these episodes because there's just be more to flesh out. But I like the interview concept, and I want to ask some people some things about comedy and what they find funny. Right. So at the end of the day, I'm so glad that that version of myself put itself out there. And a year after teasing Brandon and Friends as a whole, teasing this podcast, I'm making it a reality. And I can't quit. I don't want to quit. I'm scared of quitting, but I'm also scared of continuing to do this. But I love you guys. I love the audience. I love being in front of people. I want to be in front of more people. I want to keep doing stand-up until it's my actual job. I want to keep doing stand-up until it pays my bills. I want my kids to know me as a stand-up comedian. They already talk to me about when I do comedy, like when I put them down at night, like, oh, are you going to do comedy tonight? Are you going to do comedy? Like things like that, which is cool. And they're funny on purpose, and they see being funny as a cultural currency the way a lot of people may see being fiscally like responsible or like having money. So I'm proud of that, and I want to keep doing it. I want to get deeper in this game. I want to put all my cards on the table, but I have a goal in the back of my head that I'm now putting in the front of my head to be on SNL when my kids are in high school. Lord knows if that establishment's still going to be there. Lord knows if I have the blood pressure to be able to handle a situation like that. But there's something about Saturday Night Live that is like live sports comedy, competition comedy. And even like the other day, I was watching SNL religiously, like I usually do. And my wife Michelle was like, I really don't find the show funny. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I've ever really thought about if the show was funny as much as if the show was successful in executing the attempt at funny. And that's what I think I love about it. It's just like these masterminds in comedy around. They don't take all the great people, right? Like Godfrey got auditioned for SNL and got passed up on because they didn't want another Eddie Murphy type, right? So like the best people aren't always there, but it's a sport. And I love sports. I love competition. I love laughter. I love comedy. And I love having aspirations. And I always like being tied to these like big entities. Notre Dame, Late Show with David Letterman. What is a big entity that I've been tied to? Barstool Sports. Jesus. Sorry to take your name in vain, but that was a chapter. We'll get to that later. But yes, now I'm here. Now I'm trying to stand up. Now I'm in a closet trying to podcast, documenting the whole thing. And I hope you guys listen and like it. Please comment below, not comment below, in the review section for all these podcasts. Use it as a way to communicate with me. Tell me what you want to hear more of. Tell me what jokes you want me to try. Like I'm down for that. Like get in the review section and communicate with me so I can talk about the reviews live on the podcast and let it be a part of the whole ethos and the whole ecosystem. I'm thankful. I love you. I'll talk to you later. I got to cut this down and get this short and get this up and upload it because I'm doing this by myself. As my friend Charlotte Wilder says on her podcast, the Sports Gossip Podcast, doing this by myself. Okay. It's just like stand up. You're out there doing it by yourself. I love you. Thank you for listening. Sorry if this was random and tangenty. I hope episode 10 is not going to sound like episode 1, but one thing is for certain. I'll see you on stage. That's probably good with now. One thing's for certain. I'll see you on stage. Right. One thing's for certain. See you on stage. This episode of Brandon Friends is brought to you by divorce. No, I'm not getting one, but it is the trauma that led me here. Divorce. Any comedian's fuel.